Let's talk about the tradwife trend and how I think this all came about and could have been avoided. Hello, my strange little onions. I'm Landon Reed, aka June Rogers, America's most eligible housewife. And 4 years ago, I made my first video talking about how I thought tradwives would be a thing. And everyone told me I was crazy. They told me, no, young women will not fall for that. These things don't happen in a vacuum. There are actually so many parallels between the generations that made up the 1950s housewife and Gen Z. War, financial insecurity, rollbacks on human rights, and cultural restructuring, just to name a few. How did women go from being Rosie the Riveters, we can do it running the country, to strung out on amphetamines, fully dependent on a man? The promise of luxuries and securities they had never known. 1950s women became a pop culture tragedy, easily reduced to a joke and dismissed. Most older generations do have some grasp of all of the factors that went into the perfect storm that was the 1950s housewife. But most Gen Zers don't. We weren't taught them. We were just expected to know them through osmosis. And when most people thought that this could never happen again in their lifetime, women being forced back into submissive, traditional roles, it became a joke. It became a punchline. And that's on full display in the movie adaptations of The Stepford Wives. In the 1970s one, it's a threat. Women are scared of it. You're supposed to leave that movie understanding it could happen. Women can be forced back. Women's rights can be stripped away. Women can have no options. But in the 2004 Nicole Kidman version, it was a comedy because it could never happen in your lifetime. No, no, no. There's so much more to unpack that we don't have time for, like the religious undertones, the pervasive racism, and the mixing of literal Nazi propaganda with 1950s nostalgia. The point of feminism is for women to have choices, and right now, they do have the choice, whether to be a tradwife or not. But that won't necessarily be true in the future. A lot of women who are becoming tradwives, I do think, does come down to an aspect of self-preservation that is built into all of us. Just a reminder, June Rogers, America's most eligible housewife, doesn't exist in the 1950s. She exists in a post-apocalyptic future. Have a hug, a cookie, and a juice box, and teach your children history and historical context.